Hello there, Mike the MC, bringing another self-care video. Today I'm going to share with you the importance that I've been reading, that I want to share with you a topic of emotion and logic working together from Bet David. I think this is a great book, Choosing Your Enemies Wisely. And there is a very good premise of how to really use emotion and logic to really grow and challenge yourself to overcome new things in life. And I think as far as having the right enemy, the right one to really push us to the next horizon, that's the emphasis of the book, really from his idea, that we can grow and use some challenge, some circumstance, person even, to really grow and to not disregard our emotions, but to have faith that we can trust in what we believe and feel is true. And so before going into this topic, just something to consider. If we're going to move beyond from the past, right, moving forward, he shares in his book this idea of looking at the past in order to move yourself to the future. This idea that, okay, if we want to have a clean slate, if we want to really move beyond this idea that I don't want to be stuck with the toxic person anymore. I don't want to be stuck in terrible relationship after terrible relationship, etc. Okay, we get the point. But the idea he's sharing is this, that if we look at the past, we have to see what got us into those situations in the first place. Otherwise, we're just repeating, running into insanity, craziness over and over again. We're doing the same thing, running into the same people and problems because we just never figured out with us, what was our issue? What were we attracting? What was it that brought people into our lives? And so now going further now into this topic, I want to share with you two other books that can really draw out this idea of emotion and logic to help us grow from the past, to really choose the right opportunities, challenges to allow us to become better people. So I have Freedenthal. This was from one of my classes from social work. This is a great book looking at the suicidal person. What are those negative factors, the positive ones, to help someone through a situation? What are those things that we can do to help somebody? And this is a great book as far as helping people understand that there's more to negative thinking, or maybe not looking at it from that perspective, using different words, this idea that, okay, looking at a person's life, that there's something happening behind the scenes, and how can we help somebody move from a terrible situation to a positive one. And then one more book I have here, The Knight, Monk and King and Prophet by Dominguez. And I think the idea here that I want to share with you with this perspective is, what role do you and I satisfy, do we fit in today with regard to the four? And figuring out, okay, if we are completing one role, maybe we're jumping into another one, and we're using our abilities to really go into the next one that we know can really be ourselves. But we're afraid to be the king. We're afraid to be the prophet because we're afraid it's going to step on somebody's shoes, even put them into a negative spotlight. And we recognize if we grow, someone's going to retaliate, come after me, come after you, because we're doing things. I'm making videos, I'm saying things, right? That's one example. And now if I make an enemy because I'm sharing more on having a presence on YouTube, see, that's how it works. When you start to grow, people start to target and mention, hey, I don't like what that person said, or I do like what they said. And then the criticisms, the debates, all that comes about. See, are you ready for that to come into your life? To have a conversation with someone when they start to challenge you because you start to share ideas and you are starting to develop your voice. And now, going back to this idea of a voice, it's very powerful. Actually, with Freedenthal, looking at, okay, what are those things, those skills that can help people with regards to negative situations? And so Freedenthal will say, okay, coping skills, religion, family, other supports such as coping, ability to think beyond the box, think, problem solve, ways out of a negative situation, using your skills and abilities to really transform yourself or transform the situation into something positive. And so with Freedenthal, we can start off with this idea of transforming the situation into, how is this an opportunity for us to grow? And that connects well with Bet David, this idea that, okay, if I'm going to transform a negative situation into a positive one, okay, Freedenthal will say, okay, look at yourself in your perspective of brain problem solving, using your brain to solve beyond the box the situations that you're in. But with Bet David, this idea of emotion and logic, using them both together, helping you grow from a situation. That is a beautiful thing to consider, because we all have emotion and logic, and the idea here is, okay, maybe I didn't want to use my emotions because I wanted to be stoic, think the problem through, and that's not a bad idea, but the situation is that David's trying to bring up to be motivated, to have a reason, to have your character just shine, to be awesome. See, I can be stuck here all day in the screen doing just a blank video like, oh, you're right, I could just be stoic and quiet all day. I don't know. I could do whatever I want in a video. The point is, I have some control. You have control in a situation. And we can create our creations, our projects, the way we feel that they can be better for people. Kind of a bit of our touch, our trademark on that piece of art, right? This idea that, okay, you know that it's a video for Mike the MC. When you look at my thumbnail, you can recognize, okay, from the cover it says Mike the MC. All right, I know who that is. Marian Counselor. What's a Marian Counselor, right? See, when you have that unique brand, to protect it now, to protect it, to nourish it, nourish your idea, this persona. And now, I've mentioned other videos before, okay, what is a facade? What is this idea of putting people down with a negative gaslighting on someone, using your image? The thing is here, I'm not trying to do that with my intention. And that is the thing. Look at a person's intentions. Am I trying to just destroy somebody, or am I trying to grow personally to really become someone better? And this is where you have to understand with Bet David. This idea that, okay, I want a challenge. I want to have the right opponent. I want to be motivated to grow, to not be afraid to stand up to my opponents, to have the right ones at the right times, to grow myself. And the thing is, if we're not challenging ourselves, say we were just always having a good time, relaxed, carefree, Bet David brings in the book, then we're just relaxed. We're not really pushing ourselves to have our skills developed. We never had an enemy to fight because we ourselves became so lazy, just so perezosa, right? Espanol, right? If you know what I mean. We are just so not reactive to situations because we don't want to tip anybody's boat. We don't want to disrupt the peace, right? And the thing is, we can work together, and if you know how to use peace to your advantage, to be contemplative, to plan your next move, okay, that's one thing. But if you are going to be complacent and allow someone to take control of you in a situation, to become an abuser, to really take away your creativity, that is a negative thing to consider. And sometimes, as Bet David is really pointing out, it's ourselves that bring up the negative criticisms of people because we become so complacent in our life. The girlfriend starts to think you're boring. The boyfriend does, because you're not being creative anymore. Where's the fun? Where's the imagination? Why aren't we going to a party? Why aren't we going to do this? We're just doing the same thing over and over again. You become stale and boring, and you recognize, wow, I was really so just dull. I didn't really have anything to bring to the relationship because I myself was just complacent. I assumed everything was so awesome and perfect. I assumed that this relationship would just flourish because it will just naturally grow because I'm just awesome and I don't have to do anything. The thing is, action with your belief can take you a long way. Action with belief. And so that is where that connects with the emotion and the logic, right? You have the emotion, that the belief that, okay, I am awesome. Now with the logic, what are the steps to make it a realistic plan to make that work, to go from A to Z, to get yourself going? And that is what I love about Bet David's book that I'm highlighting here, this idea that we can create a plan to move forward. We can have an idea of what we want to accomplish. Now, how are you and I going to move forward from our current situation to that plan? That's where I bring in Freedenthal, the idea of problem solving, the skills to cope with situations, to look at how we are in the situation. Maybe I'm not so happy right now with some situation. What happens if I have a temptation to walk outside and just to stay outside because I'm feeling negative and depressed? If I find the spot like a tree or whatever that makes me feel so gloomy, right? How am I going to break that habit? How am I going to develop that awareness even to recognize this is making me depressed? See, you recognize awareness, but you have to be willing to face yourself, to face you in this life, this character that you and I are in the world that we live in. If I'm not willing to face my challenges, my fears, if I'm not willing to express what I believe, I am slowly deteriorating, becoming complacent, assuming. I'm starting to become lazy and dull. And that is where the person loses creativity. The relationship becomes toxic. The boyfriend, girlfriend cheat on you because they recognize, oh, this person, they can't do anything anymore. They became so dull. They're starting to lose trust in themselves that they're awesome. And so your partner may want to be finding that escape to monkey branch, as we'll say, to another new, better opportunity, because they're looking for that excitement. They're looking for that next opportunity, and they want to find that excitement. But the thing is, you have it. I have it. We have to trust that we can explore and push ourselves to find it. We have to face the challenges and the setbacks. And that is why Bet David is drawing here this idea that, okay, why did that past relationship fail? Okay, what can I do to myself? What can I do to help my skills, my abilities flourish in the relationship? Going back now to Dominguez here with the roles. Okay, once you're starting to grow, once you start to recognize your abilities, you're taking on a role in your community. Maybe you recognize, hey, I was the king, or I could be one, but I'm so afraid, I'm so chicken to challenge a few of my opponents in the community, in the town. I'm afraid to challenge, upset their peace, because I don't want to become a target, recognizing, hey, we got something good here. We don't have to make anyone angry. Here's something to consider, though. If there is peace for everybody on board. Okay, what happens when someone's not challenging themselves anymore to become better, to become stronger, to recognize, hey, I can solve the cure for cancer. I can solve this problem. I can solve this to become provide a solution for people that now everyone can access across the world. See, if I'm not challenging, finding solutions, right, the problems will still grow. And that's a part of life. Change is always present. I'll say that again. Change is always present. And if the problems grow around us, if we're not recognizing how to solve situations, see, then we are becoming dull. The communities become just complacent to problems that are happening around them, because you and I, we were not fulfilling our role that we could have been. The monk, the priest, the monarch, the king. I'm looking at the roles here, the prophet, looking at what we could have been, because we were afraid to upset the peace. But the thing is, we may have a solution, and we may have to step up for that solution. And if people don't like it, it's okay. It's okay. Because the thing is, I'm presenting a solution through my videos. You may not like this. You may find a different YouTuber, a different channel. Okay, maybe I have something that I'm lacking in my videos that maybe another YouTuber has in their video. That was awesome. Okay, that's cool. But maybe I got something that no other YouTuber is doing right now in this moment. Maybe I'm doing something that's a little different that you like. Maybe you like my voice. Maybe you like the way I present the information. Maybe you like how I present myself even, right? See, finding the right teacher will allow you to grow. But you got to be willing to look and discern who is the right one for me in the moment. Maybe you can have several teachers, a good math tutor, a good English tutor, a good Spanish tutor, right? Finding multiple tutors to help you to grow. See, that is the beauty of education, in the sense that, okay, beyond a classroom, beyond this idea of being at a desk, looking at a book, okay, I want to find the right teachers who have experienced what I'm looking to experience, so that way they can teach me the skills to overcome and grow, and that I will pay for the classes. I will pay for that opportunity to be with a teacher. I will pay for that ability, that opportunity to be with somebody, because I know that they overcame situations that I'm facing right now in my company, my life, my relationship, etc. But the thing is, I have to be willing to accept I need help. And with Freedenthal, that's what I like about Freedenthal's book, that don't judge yourself so harshly wanting help. Don't judge yourself for needing that support, because relationships are powerful. Relationships can guide you through. They can help you in negative moments in life. And you're hoping that you have a good partner that can help you too in those moments. Okay, finding a good role model to talk with. Finding someone in your community that you can trust. Is it a friend from school? Is it a friend from the church? Is it a friend from your own, business even? Shoot, your company, right? We all say there are toxic coworkers in life, and that's true. But what happens if you actually found a coworker that actually was an honest person? See, have you ever found those honest people in your work? See, they may not take all the spotlight, which is something that Bet David also highlights in his book, that how many of us want the spotlight just to have it, but then how many of those businesses fail? It was about 50%, as he was sharing with me from one statistic, that if you are looking for the spotlight, looking for the glamour, the fame, okay, many people, many businesses fade. They couldn't keep up with the competition because they wanted the glory and the money right away. They weren't willing to set the plan with the logic to do the work to get the system going. They had emotion, they had the ability wanting to be awesome and famous, but they didn't have the plans to help themselves get through a situation. And then when you run into that honest coworker, going back to that maybe they didn't have all the spotlight, maybe the positive emotion that maybe some other people have at your business that are flamboyant, awesome, outgoing, etc. But they seem to have their life put together and they're growing, and you recognize, hey, they're doing some things behind the scenes that are pretty cool. What is it that makes them so strong that I want to have in my life, that I want to incorporate? See, you're starting to find a teacher. You're becoming aware that some people are doing well for themselves, and now you got to find the right ones for you in the right moments in life, even the right communities, because that's another factor to consider. Maybe do you want to have a teacher through the computer, through Zoom, online? Do you want to find a teacher at a university? Do you want to find your instructors in different places, locations, media, etc.? See, there's more than just through the YouTube, right? More than just through technology. You have to be willing to maybe attend a seminar, maybe attend a public event, a gallery at the art museum, etc., right? Because you recognize, oh, there will be a famous teacher, an artist that'll be there to show how to paint some famous works, or how they were able to accomplish this or that in their life because they're willing to give a presentation. And so I think part of the connection I'll share with you from me with respect to this topic is the idea of presentation. The idea that I want to present to you what I have with my own work, with my own abilities, right? To share with you ideas and to draw them out as much as I can to share with you what is important in the moment. And for me, that makes me a stronger, better teacher, and that I'm learning how to share lessons with you. I'm learning how to talk in front of the camera. I'm learning how to use my space to my advantage, to use all that I got at my disposal. See, I have all this space around me to share a lesson with you. How do I take it up, or how do I use less of it? How do I really share and convey the message to you as best as I can, being a bit of an actor in this regard? How do I use my charisma, my words? How fast do I speak? How low or how deep of a voice, right? See, reading, personal skill and development. That's where I'm going with the idea of presentation here. I'm putting in the time to read books, to study, to really improve my skills. That's what I've learned that's helped me grow as a person, of reading and comprehending skills from other books and authors like Bette David, Dominguez, and Freedenthal. But the thing is, I'm learning from all these authors, and now I got to put them to practice, put them to work. Got to put them to the test. And that is how you learn the best, when you put the wheels on the road. And as Bette David mentions in a similar metaphor, if you're not willing to experience the actual music, when you actually sing the song in front of people, how are people going to appreciate your music? Or how are you going to appreciate your own growth if there's no experience behind that emotion? The emotion and logic have to work together, allowing you to perform in front of the crowd, to perform in the situation when you're put to the test. And that is where you will grow in your role with respect to Dominguez. If you're ready to become the king, okay, maybe you're the soldier right now. Maybe you're, or the knight. Maybe you are just ready to fight all day. But what if you have other skills to become that general? You become the general if you had some time now to study. Put some extra time later in the day or early in the morning to get yourself ready. And people are like, oh, why do I want to be so dedicated? But see, that's where Bette David goes back to his book again. The dedication, a plan to make yourself successful. It's not always the one with the most hype that's seeking the flamboyant prestige, etc., that wants to be the one famous, that is the famous one that's successful. It's the one that is able to set aside the distractions, the gambling, alcohol, drugs, porn, all the setbacks, so that they're focused on their craft, freeing themselves up to work on their business, freeing themselves up to work on their skills, freeing themselves up to develop their skills, right? See, I'm repeating things over and over again because I'm developing skills of presentation. And it comes back to that word where I'm trying to share this point to you. When you are working so hard behind the scenes and people recognize that it's a presentation, people recognize, wow, they're presenting themselves so well, so confidently. What has given them that ability to present so strongly in the moment? And the thing is, I'm developing myself. I'm practicing. I'm reading books. I'm working outside. I'm talking with people in different environments in my community. I'm learning to build videos. I'm learning to edit, do all these different skills. I'm putting them to work, to the test, and reflecting back to me as a creator in my role. And you see in the presentation, okay, that's where they are right now. That's pretty cool, how they've grown from A to B right now in this moment of life. I can recognize that in my videos even, personal growth. And then, I know I keep referencing Ben David because I want to highlight this book, but the thing is, you have to look at yourselves in recordings to see how you're developing, to see how you are growing and progressing in your creations, your works. And for me, it's like, okay, I got videos. I can watch them all day. I can see how I'm growing in each one, how I'm developing using my scenery, etc., my lessons to share with you all, presentation skills, how it's working with you. See, I have one way to track my progress, and that is the beauty of looking to the past to move forward. See, what is it that failed in your previous situations? See, a way to track all that, a way to remember. And yes, we have memory. That's the first one that comes to mind. But what are other ways? And so for me, it's a video. For me, talking with people. For me, looking at progress from different ways of looking at it. Maybe I got taller. Maybe I got stronger. Maybe I got, my charisma just got so better. My singing voice just got so stronger as well. I became so articulate. You can see in my writing skills that my words and letters became more beautiful over time because I kept practicing. And I was able to track my progress and how I was able to grow each time from the previous one. And that is the key. When you can track your progress and move forward with it, you will become stronger, you will become better, you will grow, and your role may develop. You may become that king or prophet later on, or if you want to be contemplative like a monk, awesome, okay. You're going to find that role, and you may develop into something more profound, and you may find something that maybe no one saw that was within you. Now, my question for you is, how far do you want to grow today? How much time are you willing to look at your progress? How are you going to track your growth today? What are those things that you can now look back to that maybe can help you move forward to springboard yourself back to the front position now, to the first place? What's going to springboard you into the next step that you want to progress to? All right, finding those things to look at, like I was saying, looking at notes, videos, conversations with people, and you will find those parts to track your progress. And when you find them, try to use them now to your advantage to grow, and you will become stronger and grow faster and grow to something that you can be. And I know you can develop. I can develop, and we will progress and become stronger people in our own lives, our own communities, and we will grow. And with emotion and logic and emotion, we can use them both together to help us grow our businesses, ourselves, and to meet good, positive people, and to respect people, as well as the entrepreneurs, role models, CEOs, role models that we want to be. We can make a difference. So don't give up on yourself. We can make this world better. So don't give up on yourself. That is for me, from Mike the MC. I hope this video finds you well today. I'm starting to ramble here at the end, but the point is, I hope this video finds you well. I hope you're able to use it to your advantage, to track your progress even. Look at my videos if you want to see as an example of tracking progress, seeing how I've changed my channel, my videos over time, and look at how people have grown. Read a biography. Look at people, how they've grown in their own lives. Video gamers, etc., cowboys, whoever, whatever profession. Just look at some people, how they've grown over time. Look at how, do a little research of somebody, see how they grew, and see how you can use those skills to your advantage to become stronger and better yourself for what you want to be. I know you got this. We're going to make this world a better place. All right, everyone. Hope this video finds you well. Take care. Have a good one.